How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm so excited for this. Everyone is so pumped. Cannot
I'm
wait.
so
All
excited.
right.
Me
All
too.
right. Well, we are recording, so we're just going to go ahead and get started, you guys, because it's 7:01 and I want to use as much time of this hour as we can. So, everyone, for those of you who don't know, this is Cassie Westlund. She is a 25-year-old top 5 income earner the last time that the numbers were announced. And I am just so inspired by her. I feel like so many of us can relate to her, and I don't want to share her story. So, Cassie, why don't you just go ahead and start with your story and we'll go from there.
Awesome. So thanks for having me on. I'm 25 years old, like she said, and I've been with the business almost 5 years now, 5 years in April. And at the time I was 20 years old, I was living in Connecticut. Now I'm living in Florida, but I was a full-time student. I was working probably like 3 or 4 different part-time jobs. I was always finding something, some way to pick up, extra jobs to make extra money. And at the time I was living with Spencer. He was my boyfriend at the time. Now we're married and we had our own apartment. So at 20 years old, to have your own apartment and have your own bills was super stressful. We had rent, we had dogs, we had car payments, utilities, you name it, we had it. So it was super stressful just to live, paycheck to paycheck, but I thought it was super normal to live that way. And we honestly just never had time for each other either. So I saw this opportunity on Instagram, just like most of you guys probably did. We're on Facebook. And, at first I was super skeptical. I just never thought that I could ever do anything like this. I was really shy. I never took a marketing class a day in my life, never sold anything a day in my life. And I watched for probably like 3 months and I became a customer. And literally the same week that I got my product, before I even really got a chance to try it, I signed up with her right on the spot. And right after signing up, I was like so nervous. Like this was super out of my comfort zone. And I had so much opposition. I had so many people telling me that I couldn't do this. Even my own mom told me like it was stupid, that it was a scam. I had so many friends from like college and high school making fun of me. I was basically like the laughing stock of my town, and it really upset me because I'm super like emotional person. So like it really took me to heart, like, and I got upset about it. But at that point I decided like I can either let that stop me, or, let that motivate me to prove people wrong. So that's basically what I did. And in the first month I went Ruby. So I did promote like pretty quickly in the beginning. And honestly, it was all ignorance on fire. When people asked me like what I did, honestly, like I just did it. Like I did what I was told. I plugged into videos. I was very consistent and treated this business like a business since day one. And I didn't have a huge following on Instagram either. I only had 300 followers when I started. So I just tried to grow that very, very quickly. And my second month in, I went diamond, got the $10,000 bonus. Third month in, I went double diamond, got the $15,000 bonus. So life quickly, became really awesome. I started making like, 4 figures a month, and it was amazing. And slowly I was able to start quitting like those multiple part-time jobs that I had. And once I went triple diamond, which was 10 months in, so 10 months after conference, went triple diamond. At that point, it was like a huge turning point. My husband was able to quit all of his jobs. We got married. We eloped. Actually, I just didn't want to do the big wedding. We just got married, went on a honeymoon, and we were able to pay off student loan debt, credit card debt. We got a new apartment, got new cars, all the things, and life was really, really good. So at that point, we were making 5 figures monthly. He was a diamond, I was a triple diamond, and I think a year after that, after conference, I went presidential diamond in January. It was January right before conference. And then 5 months later, went ambassador. I didn't have any plans of going ambassador. I think after conference, once they brought out the bonuses, I realized how close I was. I was like, okay, I can actually do this. But, presidential was kind of like the end goal for me. I didn't think I could ever go past that. So in, I think it was May of 2017, I went ambassador diamonds. And right after going ambassador, I went to green carpet. And I've always wanted to live somewhere warm. It was always on my dream board just to move somewhere like Florida. And when we came down to green carpet, I just loved the area. So I signed a lease spontaneously, and we moved down to Sarasota like a month after green carpet. And since then, I've been living in Florida. We were able to build our dream house just about a year ago, and we moved in a couple months ago back in the summer. And life has been so amazing. We've been able to pay off so much debt, help our family, more than I could ever possibly imagine. This business has blessed so many family members. Like, it's insane. We've been able to travel and really just spend every single day together. Spencer hasn't worked a full-time job since triple diamond, when I went triple diamond. And at the time, he was like working all these physically demanding jobs. So life was just so, so good. And yeah, that's pretty much like the short story about it. I don't want to ramble up my story too long.
I love that. I love how you said like people were like not for you joining. They said like you shouldn't do it, and I like how you just kind of like ran with it, and you were kind of like, guess what? Like here am I at the top of the company 2 years later. Like it's just like inspiring to show people that even if people don't believe in you, like you should just believe in yourself. And like you said, you were ignorance on fire. So
Yes, definitely.
That's awesome. So you said how when you first started, you only had 300 followers. How did you grow your network, and how do you continue to grow your network? Because I know that's kind of an issue for a lot of people. They struggle.
Yeah, so back then, I mean, it was really different back then than it is now. There was no algorithm back then, and it didn't really matter like what you posted. As long as you posted, it worked. So it definitely, I guess, could be a little bit more challenging now, but I just think that we just have to work smarter, not harder. And I was able to grow like from 300 to 5,000 followers in the matter of 3 months, which was like insane. But honestly, like right now, like I haven't grown my followers in that time span in a very, very long time. It does take a little bit more time, but that's okay. I think consistency is just key. And I have learned I noticed that making multiple accounts really, really helps. So I work primarily on Instagram. I really don't use Facebook that much. I don't really know how to use it. I just always use Instagram. It's just been my niche. So I just, ran with it. And I made a second account probably a couple years ago. I don't know at what point I made it. I think once I hit that 7,500 following mark, I made a second account. And then maybe around 6 months to a year ago, I made my third account. And basically what it does, it just allows me to do more because of course Instagram has limitations of how many actions that you can do, how many people you can follow, message, etc. So, having multiple accounts just lets me do more. And I post all the same things on all 3 accounts, all the same stories, all the same posts. It's literally the exact same thing. And it just lets me do more. And if one account is like unfortunately blocked or, not working at the moment, I have a backup. So you definitely want to back up something especially if it's like your livelihood. Like Facebook is something that you use. I mean, I don't know if you can make 2 Facebooks, but you definitely want to have a fallback for sure.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I never thought about getting another account because I know a lot of people have been having issues with getting blocked. So that's definitely an option. It clearly does work. So as for like growing, do you go like how do you grow your network? If you could like give an example of like how you kind of like choose who you follow and like things like that.
So basically just by following random people, what I do is like I go into the likes of pictures because I know those are active people. So I follow down that way instead of following down the followers. And typically what I do is I go to like women's boutiques or like college sorority pages, just somewhere where I'll find like a ton of girls and I follow pictures or follow people on those pictures. There's really no like special way that I do it. I mean, there's really so many people that you can follow. It really just doesn't matter. It's super random. And I just do that consistently every single day. Lately, it has been a little bit more difficult, I guess, with how much actions that you can do. So I have noticed you just have to go slower. So, in the past, of course, we were able to just follow until it stopped you. Now I have noticed you just have to go slower. So what I do is I try to follow like 10 to 20 people and I wait like a minute in between, following the next person. And the way that I do that efficiently is by having 2 devices in front of me. So if you have a laptop or an iPad or something, I would have that out in front of you, follow there, and then also like have your phone out so you can do something productive in the meantime. So you're not just like wasting your time twiddling your thumbs, waiting to follow the next person. So that's basically like what I do right now to follow.
Yeah, I think people overcomplicate it. So just being consistent and like the 2 devices, I think I need an iPad or something because I'm on my phone like trying to do it and I just get overwhelmed. So
yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah. Okay, so what kind of like are your daily tasks? Like what are your non-negotiables? Like what do you have to do every single day no matter what you're doing, if you're on vacation or just at home?
So in the morning, what I typically do is I wake up and I do my journaling. That's like my favorite way to do personal development. I just love journaling so much. Or I listen to a sermon. I really like Mike Todd and Jonathan Stockstill. He's really awesome and you can find him on YouTube. So basically that's how I start my morning. And then posting, that's like the biggest thing. So I don't really post on my feed every single day like I used to. Now it's more just a couple times a week, but posting on my story is huge. I do that pretty much from the second I wake up till I go to bed. So that's like one of my non-negotiables multiple times all throughout the day, business related and non-business related. I check on my new distributors. That's super important. And what I have noticed too is like not making the goal of, I send a lot of messages and cold messages for getting customers and I do host posts as well. But instead of like having a goal to, send out 100 new messages, what I do is I try to make a goal to have 30 or 40 new conversations a day because I could send out 100 new messages all day long and get nothing, or I can send out 50 and have, really thoughtful conversations. So I think it just depends on how much you're actually getting back in return. And it's always going to be different. It's not always going to be the same. So I'm always just trying to get new numbers on my phone and always having new conversations. And when I do that, I do feel like the most productive. So, if I message 100 people and I don't have those conversations, then I'm definitely going to message like 50 to 100 more until I do have that. So that's basically how I like broke up like my daily non-negotiable goal. And I do message for host post now. That's something I recently started doing a few months ago. I just do it for distributors and customers. Lately, I've been doing mostly distributors. So what I do is I message between all 3 accounts, probably around 100 to 200 new messages daily for customers. And basically what that looks like, I just say, hey girl, can I ask you a question? And the reason why I say that is just because they're more likely to answer instead of just sending the initial cold message. And then I'll just say, I hope I'm not bothering you, but I'm looking for a couple product testers, etc., whatever my message says, and I can share it with you after. I don't know off the top of my head. And I get a lot of people responding more if I say, hey, can I ask you a question versus just sending the initial message. And instead of like unsending and resending, so I'm not sure if you know what that is, but basically in the past, what we would do is we would unsend and resend old messages just to like, reach out to people again. And now obviously Instagram knows when you unsend a message because it sends them a notification. So instead of doing that, what I do is I send them another message that's different, and I just say, hey girl, will you do me a favor? And when I say that, then I'm asking them to do a host post for me. So I just ask them to post on their story for me, and they'll be entered into a $500 product giveaway, whatever it is that I'm doing for the month. And then I send them the distributor host post. And that's how I get a ton of my distributors between that. And also, I think this was one of your questions, the influencer application that I recently started doing like in the last month. It's something I really just started doing, so it's super new, but honestly, I think it's amazing. So I'm not sure if you guys know what Linktree is. I've honestly never used it before. I'm not really like tech savvy at all, but I figured this out like literally within 20 minutes. So if you go on my Instagram bio, you'll know what I'm talking about, but basically it's like an influencer application. So you can go on Google Forms and you can make one yourself, and basically you just put a description of whatever it is that you're talking about. And if you see mine, like you'll see what I'm talking about. You can just go and like use that as a template. And basically I have like multiple choice questions that I'm asking them, just like anything that you would ask your normal potentials. And I've been getting so many people filling that out because I feel like a lot of times people are just too scared to reach out. So I have a ton of people filling that out. I probably had, I think I checked this morning, I had like 75 responses, and I recently started this within the last month. So like within the last month, like over 70 people have filled it out, which is insane. I did not expect it to be like that awesome. So after you make the Google form and after you make your description and you put all your questions, then you go make a Linktree account. So if you guys don't have one, you can make one. It's totally free. And then after you make the account, there's an option to add links. And then you just add your Google form link into your Linktree link. And then you just add the Linktree link into your Instagram bio, just so it looks cleaner. And then it directs them right to the influencer application. And also to take into consideration, you don't get emails anytime someone fills it out. So you have to check it regularly because you're not going to get notified. So you just have to keep that Google form thing up in your Safari. Like I just never X out of it. And if you just keep refreshing it and look at the responses, it's just always going to keep popping up every single time someone fills it out. So does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. I know we're so intrigued. When we found out that you had like the application, I was like, okay, how does this work? So I was so excited that you just explained that, because it seems like, I feel like you probably weed out a lot of people that like kind of want to do this, but like not 100%. And so I feel like by just getting it done like right in the beginning, I feel like you probably get a lot more better like potential distributors that are, they kind of know what you do, but they're willing to work, and there's like up front, you're like, okay, this is kind of like how it goes. So what are just some of like the questions that are on there? I know we can probably look, but I'm sure some people are kind of wondering. And then yeah, and then you just have it on your bio, right? On Instagram, you have the link to it.
Yes, it's right on my bio. So some of the questions are, the first one is their name, how old they are, or if they're 18 or not. Obviously that weeds out people that are underage. Their phone number and Instagram handle, where they're from, like what country they're from, just to make sure that they're like within the country that we obviously do business in. I put, tell me a little bit about yourself, your age, what you do for work, or are you in school? What does working online from your phone, why does it interest you, and what could it do for you? How could it change your life, current situation? So you have a ton of people like already like right off the bat, like telling you their personal life, which is great. How much time do you currently have to dedicate to working from your phone, weekly or daily? And it says tip, look at how much time you currently spend on Instagram. And then I just put at the end, how would you like more info? Text me, call me, or message me on Instagram. So super straightforward. Just asking them like why they would want to do this. And in the description, I obviously tell them a little bit about myself and what the business has done for me. I mean, you can go and read it. It's right there. My main Instagram is public, so you guys can go see that and click on it.
I love that. So like simple and to the point, and probably so much easier instead of like resending the same question over and over to like everyone. So
yes,
I absolutely love that. So once someone gets started, kind of how do you get them to like begin? Like right when they bought the kit or whatever. So like what do you train them from there? What's your process?
So it's always changing. I feel like I'm always just trying to find something different that works. So I don't really have like, I guess, one great thing um, or one great system that works. But basically what I'm doing right now is right after they sign up, I add them to our Facebook group page. I add them to a group chat. And the group chat I have basically has tons of Instagram stories that they can use. So if you don't have a group like that, you can also make like a iPhone cloud sharing album where you can share your stories and your content and things like that with your team. But I just have it in a group chat just because it's easier for me. And right off the bat, I basically send them this little blurb, and I can send it to you after. It's just like this long paragraph. It basically tells them that I'm here for them and that I don't want them to get discouraged if they hear the word no. I kind of just like talk about that right off the bat because I don't want it to be like a thing where, you know, people join and they think that they're going to automatically see all the success. It's going to be great and all good. And like people are going to automatically, you know, flock them to join and sign up with them. Obviously, that's not the case. We know that there's a lot of rejection with this business, and that's normal. That's okay. That doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong. We hear the word no every single day. And I want them to know that right off the bat so that it's not a surprise when someone tells them no. So I basically have that in the paragraph that I send them, and I tell them their first goal, which is to get their first 4 loyal customers. But I think I'm going to change it. I think I'm actually going to change their first goal to be 10 loyal customers because I have realized, like, I think I heard from someone that the more that you expect from someone, the more that they're going to do. So if you have give them a goal of 4, they might do less. If you give them a goal of 10, you know they're going to at least do 4. So I think I'm actually going to change that. And then right off the bat, I ask them if they have any friends or family that they think would support them. And whether they say yes or no, I give them a message to send out to their friends and family. And it kind of just goes along the lines of, hey, I just started this new business and I'm looking for a couple people to try these products for 3 months. You can get my personal discount. Can I count on you for your support? Something like that. And they send it to all the people that they know. And I tell them to send me screenshots and I can help them with all their conversations. And I also give them posts. So I have them in that group chat where they have tons of posts, but I also give them a post because I feel like sometimes when they go and look, they get overwhelmed. They don't know what to use first. So I just give them their first post to post in their story. And usually it's something like keto coffee or hair, skin, and nails. And then after that, I give them 2 videos to watch. One of them is Jade Hooper sealing the deal with Elsie video. That was like my most favorite video when I signed up just because it helped me with talking to potential customers. So I love that video. So I always send that to them. And then another one is like a new distributor training that Emily Worsing has, but pretty much like any new distributor training that you like, you can send to them. So that's basically like what the first 3 days looks like. I do a lot of voice messaging with them. I do get on the phone sometimes, but I feel like getting on the phone sometimes is just too time consuming and I don't want to waste my time, especially if they're not going to obviously stick with this because that does happen. So I just do a lot of voice messaging and I also have a lot of voice messages pre-recorded in the voice memo app so that's kind of like all ready to go, just explaining basic things that everyone needs to know, like what a loyal customer means or whatever, like those basic things that we need to teach people. So I have it all pre-recorded in the app. And I also use that off topic just to go back. I do that also with talking to my potential distributors, especially for host to post. So I could talk to you about that after. But that's like pretty much all I do for my new distributors. That's like what the first couple days look like. It's always different depending on the person. Of course, if they want to know more, then we'll go at a faster pace. But I kind of just feel them out in the first few days and just see, you know, how it goes from there.
Right. Yeah, I love that. So when you have like a new distributor, do you encourage them to use both Facebook and Instagram, or do you more like train them on Instagram?
I tell them they can use both, but because I found them on Instagram, they're always going to use Instagram. But I always tell them they can use both. But we pretty much just work on Instagram. Like that's what I'm best at. That's what I know. So I basically just teach Instagram. But obviously, you lose nothing by posting on Facebook as well.
Right. Absolutely. So how many people do you average like enroll for distributors and loyal customers a month?
Probably around like 30 customers a month. It used to be more, but it's a little bit less now. And for distributors, maybe like 10 a month. Some months more, some months less. So I do like enroll a lot, but it's not like a crazy amount. I obviously don't want to overwhelm myself where I can't handle, you know, all the people that I've enrolled.
Right. Yeah, and they're all from Instagram, which is crazy because I use Facebook and Instagram. I know a lot of us on here do. And so just like hearing that you're like 100% successful just from Instagram is like mind boggling because I don't know how to like cold message on Instagram for customers. It like scares me. I don't want to do it. I've just started and I've been getting responses, but it's like so scary to me and I don't know why.
Probably just because it's new. I mean, Facebook, I guess, could seem kind of scary to me, but I just don't really know how to use it, I guess. I just never have. I've always used Instagram.
Yeah. No, it makes so much sense. So this question really kind of like hit home, and I feel like since you said you were shy, what tips do you have for like us introverts, like for starting the business and then like growing and just becoming like a leader to yourself and then to the team? Just any tips that you have from like one shy person to another.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest thing is like you could still be loud without having to like go live and like literally be loud in person. Like I've always been more of like a introverted, shy person. That's just me. And what I've learned is like I don't have to like change who I am or be someone else to be successful. Like obviously our top 100, like they all look so different. Even in Costa Rica, like every single person was so different. And I think that's the beauty of it. You don't have to fit a certain mold to be successful. I've always been the type of person that doesn't need like the spotlight. Um, I just don't really care about it. Some people thrive on it, and that's totally fine. But I mean, as long as you tell your story in however way you want to tell it, that's totally fine. We all have a story to tell. Whether you love going live every single day and sharing your story that way, that's great. Whether it's like taking beautiful photos, like me, I love taking pictures. It's like something that I truly love. That's how I'm going to share my story, through my captions, through my photos. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's something I honestly probably do still struggle with. Sometimes I like overthink things. I'm like, well, I probably should be more like her, or I need to step out of my comfort zone and do this. But I mean, it's good to get out of your comfort zone, but at the same time, like you don't have to change who you are to be successful. Like you can be who you are. Like you can't pretend to be other people. Like if I tried to fake who I was and try to be like Rachel or try to be like you or someone else, like I would just be like lying to myself. Like people would be able to see right through that. People are going to want you to be your most authentic self, and they're going to appreciate you for that. So I hope that kind of helps. But yeah, I mean, you can work silently and your success is always going to make the most noise for sure.
That is so true. Yes, I know. If I could not be like who I am, so I'm not like a loud person. I was like, that's why I have to interview you, because we're both like kind of similar in like the shy introvert area. So I just wanted to like pick your brain and learn. Let's see. Oh, Rachel wants to know if you'll make her application.
Yeah, it's super simple. It's really easy.
Oh, she's blowing up the chat over here. Oh goodness. Okay, so one thing also, we all have our down days, and I know like this business can just be like sometimes a lot to handle. How do you like not take a step back from your business, but like kind of like recoup and then like not lose your fire and continue to like be building your network and being successful in the business, but without being burnt out?
I mean, we're all going to have our bad days. And even if you have like all the passion in the world, you're always going to have that day where you just don't feel like doing it. And I think the biggest thing is just working. Like for me, if I'm having a bad day or something's happening in my personal life or I'm just not feeling my best, for me, like the way I cope is by literally working this business. And any single time I get an enrollment, it makes me feel better. So it makes me want to keep doing more. So, and it's a good distraction too. Like sometimes like something will be happening and like I'll just get lost in my work because I love my work so much that it'll just kind of make me forget about whatever was going on. And I think honestly, like the key to like having a dry spell or being in a funk or whatever it is just honestly enrolling. Like the second you enroll one customer or one distributor, you always instantly feel so much better because you just feel good because you did something, right? And obviously it's a ripple effect. You're just going to continue to do more and more of it. And and you're reminding yourself that you still can do this, that you're not just a one-hit wonder. It's not just, you can still keep doing this. So I think that's like the biggest thing for me. And of course, personal development is huge. Like you have to personal develop. And honestly, in the beginning of this business, like I was a pretty positive person, but I didn't do personal development like for the longest time. Like I thought it was so stupid. I was the kind of person that thought like I didn't need it because I was kind of a pretty positive person. I would do it sometimes, like watching a YouTube video, but I wasn't religiously taking time out of my day every single day to grow my mind. And I think that definitely hindered me. But journaling for me is like huge. I love journaling. And you just have to find like what resonates with you. Some people love listening to sermons. People love watching YouTube videos or reading books. I personally am just not like a reader. I just feel like I have like ADD and I can't focus on a book, even an audiobook, because I feel like sometimes like if I have an audiobook, I'll be like multitasking and then I feel like I'll get lost in whatever I'm doing and then not actually listen to what the audio is saying. So for me, journaling is like huge because, and I love Denise Walsh's Dream Life Journal. If you guys don't have that, you definitely need to get it. She has 2 different books, but they're really awesome. And especially if you don't know what to journal in the beginning, because I feel like that was like, for me, especially like I didn't know what to write. And this is perfect because it literally tells you what to write every single day. And then of course, after you're done with that, you can continue doing it yourself because you know what to write. And having gratitude, I think gratitude is huge. Like anytime I'm feeling like I'm having a pity party or I'm just not feeling good about myself in whatever way, whatever is happening, for me, like gratitude is number one. Like I literally will just sit down, I'll make myself sit down and get out my notebook and like literally write down 10 things I'm thankful for. And when I do that, it literally always changes my perspective, and it makes me realize, wow, I'm so blessed. Like there's no reason why I should be feeling like this. You know, I have a roof over my head. I have a husband that loves me. I have family that loves me. I have food to eat. I have an amazing team, an amazing business. Like there's no reason why I should be feeling that way. But of course, we're human. We're always going to feel that way at some point or another. But gratitude, honestly, just like literally fixes everything, because you can't worship and worry at the same time, and you can't complain and be thankful at the same time either. So it definitely like takes you out of that state and makes you realize how much you really do have. So gratitude is number one too. I think that's like probably that, and journaling and just praying to God, obviously, for me is like what I do for sure.
I love that. I have wanted to start journaling, and I was going to ask you, but you already answered it. Like, what do you journal about? And because I'm a reader, so I can't do like the audiobooks, but I definitely feel like I need to start journaling, because I feel like it's just done so much for everyone, and it's so good for like writing just like out your thoughts and your goals. And do you write like, you could write like, I am like ambassador diamond 2.0. Do you do like things in the future or the present or like the past when you're writing?
I do. So I do I am statements. I do that. And then I also do like writing to myself, like in the future, or even like the present tense as if it already happened. So like I'll write like a little story to myself of like what just happened, and it could just like be my promotion or whatever it is that I wanted in my personal life or business. But I pretty much just get creative with it. Like you can literally just get lost in whatever it is that you're writing about. And it feels so good because whatever you're writing about is something that you want. So whenever you're finished, you're always like so pumped up because you're excited about whatever you're writing about. And then it's also really good to go back and to read that whenever you're not feeling your best, because, you know, it's good to just go back and look over that and see what you did right. So yeah, I mean, I write about tons of different things, but I definitely recommend getting Denise's book for sure in the beginning if you really just don't know where to start.
Love that. What was it called again? I'm gonna write it in the chat.
I think it's Design Your Dream Life and Dream Life Journal. There's two. They're on Amazon. They're like 15 each. I would definitely recommend getting both because they're different.
Okay. I'll send everyone the link to that because I want to get that, because I'm trying to like step out of my comfort zone and just do new things to do that. So, okay. We kind of covered like all of our main questions. I'm gonna go through. I saw some through here. Okay. Host to post. So do you only do business host posts, or do you do product ones also on Instagram?
I do both, but I primarily have just been doing distributor host posts now, and I feel like it's been working amazing. That's how I've been signing most of my distributors, between that and the influencer application in the last month. And also something I wanted to talk about too. So when I first started doing the distributor host posts, I was basically just going about the conversation normally how I would with any potential distributor, and I realized it wasn't really working. And that's because obviously they weren't following me, so they didn't have any kind of relationship with me. They didn't know who I was. They didn't see my posts. They just didn't know anything. So what I started doing is voice messaging. So I'm not sure if you've done this before, but basically in the voice memo app. So I think it's just the app that comes with the iPhone. It's just called Voice Memos. It's like a black app. You can pre-record voice messages there and then save them, and you can like label them whatever you want to label them. And I basically just recorded a video of myself. It's like really short. It's like 2 minutes or less. I don't like to do long voice messages because I just feel like that could be really annoying. And if someone like ends up not listening to the whole thing, like the chances of them going back to re-listen is just not good. So I just hate getting like long voice messages. So 2 minutes or less is better. But basically I just start off by just saying like a little bit about myself, because especially for host posts, people don't know who I am. They know nothing about whatever it is I'm talking about. So I start telling them who I am, and I don't tell them about the success, I tell them about the struggle. So I just tell them, you know, where I was 5 years ago, how I was, you know, working all these different jobs, how I was, you know, broke college student, living paycheck to paycheck. And I talk about that, and I talk about how I joined the business, and I tell them a little bit about what we do, like what the company is, how we market products, you know, whatever it is that your normal scripts are, you can basically kind of go off of that and like basically just say it in your voice memo. And then at the end, I just ask them like how much income they're looking to make, and I ask them to tell me a little bit about themselves, because I want them to respond and tell me so that we can start connecting. So that's basically what I do. And I honestly have started doing that for all my potentials now, just because I have it pre-recorded. So now I just do it for everyone. But I think it's been working great, just because before, like I would have my script all saved in my phone, and I was sending them, but they weren't responding because I feel like I just wasn't grabbing them. They just weren't answering. And the first thing I do too is I ask them what their name is and what their Instagram handle is, because I have noticed I have been getting a lot of guys texting me. So I don't want to say, hey girl, if it's a guy, and I want to also follow them on Instagram if they're not following me. So getting their Instagram handle is huge. because it's from host to host. So that's basically how I go about that. And then I send the voice message. So definitely pre-record some voice messages. You can do it for like literally everything. I do them for, you know, my distributors with training and things like that. It's super easy. You just do something once and then you just have it for everyone.
My mind is literally blown because I don't know if I'm the only one, but like I didn't know you could save your voice memos. Like I've done it to where like I've sent it to like myself on Facebook and then like I've like forwarded it, but I've never knew that you could save them.
Well, you can't like save them. So what I have learned too with the new update that iPhone has, I was originally like recording it in my texts and then like copying and pasting it, but like it was disappearing when I would send it to other people. So like I didn't know what was going on and I heard that it just like wasn't working. So you have to record new in the app. So like you don't, if you have like an existing voice memo, like you can't like put it in the app, like you have to record a new one if that makes sense. But then like you can copy and paste it and it looks like a little file. It doesn't look like the regular voice memos, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, that does. I'm gonna have to like play with that and do that because that'll save me so much time. Because I feel like I'm always just voice messaging the exact same thing over and over when I could be utilizing that 2 minutes to be talking to someone else in a conversation. So
Yeah, for sure.
love that. Definitely gonna start doing that. And then for customers, I know that you said you like cold message. Do you just like strictly get them from cold messaging, or I know you said you don't really do too much host to post, so just all of them from your cold messages? Or do
Yeah,
people?
I mean, basically, like the last 5 years I've been in the business, I've literally only ever cold message for customers, and then just posting like on my story and stuff. I do host to post for them. I just don't do as much as distributor, just because. And I think it also depends like what you need more of. So right now I'm just focusing on distributors, and maybe at the end of the month I'll kind of switch over. But I have noticed it does work for customers as well. But for distributors, it's working so well. I don't really want to change it. And I post on my story like every single day about like the keto coffee, whatever product I'm talking about. Like I'm always being very consistent on my story every single day. So I do get a lot of customers from my story. But probably cold messaging is like number one, and following up, of course. Following up is huge. I follow up like probably almost every single day. I like to follow up with people pretty much like right after I talk to them, just because, you know, there's so many people that we talk to that just stop answering. And I wanted to follow up with them when it's fresh in their mind, and I don't want them to get lost, you know, with everyone else on my phone. So I try to do it like every 2 days. Like I'll go back in my text and I'll send everyone a follow up that I talked to like in the past 2 days.
Okay.
And
Do
it
you
helps
give
a ton.
everyone's phone number like right away instead of like talking to them through Instagram? Do you just be like, hey girl, like what's your number?
Yeah, like I always get people's numbers. I really don't like talking on DM. I think it's so annoying. I feel like I never like can get through the conversation quick enough. And I feel like you just don't see the notifications as quick. So I feel like texting is so much easier, especially when it goes to follow up. Like I want to be able to have their number. I don't want to have them in my DM because then they're just going to get lost in all my new DMs. So yes, I ask everyone for their phone number like right away. Most of the time people give it. Very rarely will they not give it. And I've had a lot of people tell me that they don't like to give their number, but I think that's just like a mentality thing because I always get people's numbers, like probably 95% of the time.
Yeah.
So don't think that people are weirded out by it because they're not. Just like obviously say it in a nice way, add some emojis. Yes, I always get people's numbers. I think it's just so much easier to go back and forth through text and DM.
Yeah, definitely. Do you utilize the Connect app with that too for like follow-ups, or do you just do it kind of individually?
I used to. I don't anymore. I know a lot of my girls use the Reach app, so it's kind of like Connect. I think the reason why they like that more is because if they like don't finish whatever group they have and they go back, it doesn't like lose their spot. And I think in Connect it does do that, but it's basically the same thing as Connect. I have recently done the Reach app, but for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it's this new iPhone update, but I got blocked on iMessage because while I was following up, like it instantly turned my iMessage back on while I was following up in the app. And I don't know what happened. I'm not sure if it was my phone or the update or what. But I haven't really been using it too much lately, but I'm really like on top of it as far as like following up myself every 2 days. So I don't really have to use the app, but the app is good. You know, whenever we have a new product or if you want to just send a mass follow up to everyone, it is very helpful. So, I would use the Reach app if I am going to use it.
Right. Perfect sense. I know you said you were going to share your message for customers, but what's kind of like, yeah, if you have it, otherwise you can send it to me later, whatever you want to do, but also like a follow-up message, like what you normally send for that.
So I just say, hey girl, can I ask you a question? And they say, yes, what's up? I say, I hope I'm not bothering you, but I love your profile. I was just curious if you'd like to be a brand reviewer for me. I think that you're so pretty and would love what we have. I can give you my personal discount. Can I give you more information? And then add an emoji. So super simple.
I love that.
And
So
then for follow-ups, I can send you a bunch of my follow-ups afterwards if you want, because I have so many that I use. I don't really just stick to one. So just like remind me after and I could send the ones that I use.
I would absolutely love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we covered everything that I wanted to, and everyone was wondering. If anyone has any questions, just drop them in the chat. But kind of just to, if you could give one tip to everyone, whether they're a beginner or have been in for forever, just what is one thing that you kind of want to share with everyone or leave everyone with?
I mean, if you're new, like brand new, I would just take quitting off the table because, I mean, you joined this business for a reason. This is a life-changing opportunity, and you know it can change your life, but you have to just give it time. I feel like so many times people just think that they want overnight success, and overnight success doesn't last. It doesn't at all, and you have to give this business time. So if you're brand new, like you just have to be patient. You know, none of us join this business looking to be a millionaire overnight. That's just not the case for sure at all. But definitely like look for solutions. Reach out to your upline, know that we're here to help you. Like you have every resource possible, you know, to be successful. I remember when I first started, we didn't even have Zoom. Like we never did Zooms. I think they did Google Hangouts. We just like literally utilized YouTube videos. So it's just so crazy now, like what we have so much more now. Like, you know, there's no better chance for success than right now. But that's what I would say for someone that's brand new. But I could definitely answer some more questions if there's more questions in the chat.
Yeah. Can you share what your host to post looks like for Instagram?
Yes. So do you guys have the app over? Do you use that? Okay. That's basically how I make mine.
Yeah.
Let me just grab them really quick. So I'm not sure if you can see. That's my distributor one. Are you able to see that?
Yeah.
So basically all it says is my friend Cassie is looking for someone who wants to work either full-time or part-time from home on their own schedule from their phone and earn anywhere between $500 to $2,000 a month. Only 3 spots available. Must be 18 years or older. Text opportunity to my phone number for more information. I can send you this too. But really simple. I made it on the Over app. And then for customers, I have one that looks like this. It's just a keto coffee. And then I have one for the lash serum. I'm not sure if you could see if my brightness is too.
You can see it.
Okay. And then I also have one for hair, skin, and nails. But this is like a 3-part one, so it's like.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I definitely want to start like playing around with doing products on Instagram post to post because I only do the business opportunity and it's been blowing up, but I've never done the products. I guess just because I've never known really how to go about it. So thank you for sharing those. It definitely is helpful.
You're welcome.
How do you organize content to post?
So in my phone, basically I have like albums. So I have one for like Instagram story, one that's just for customers and one just for distributors. So that's basically how I like store all my stories that I use because obviously I don't make new ones every single day. I reuse a lot of the old ones. So anytime like I'm looking to post, I just go on my story and I click what album I'm looking for, whatever I'm going to post, and I go through the albums. That's basically what I do for stories. I don't really organize like pictures on my feed. I just kind of like post them as I go. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't really have like a system for that.
Yeah, I definitely need to organize all of my pictures in my phone because they are all over the place. So definitely, I feel like I need to start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What is your favorite way to upsell?
Okay, so basically what I do, like in the past, this was probably like a year and a half ago, I was selling so much keto coffee, but I was just selling one bag, which was just so silly of me. So it was only 30 BB orders. So ever since I stopped that, I basically do 2 bags of coffee and 1 bag of chocolate greens. And then if someone's really looking to lose weight, you can also add in a bag of Thermofy X. But basically, anytime someone asks me about the coffee or the greens, I always tell them about everything. So it's not just like I kind of like do it as a bundle. So like they have to have both. So whenever they are looking to lose weight or they ask about the coffee, I kind of just put it all in one script. And then when I give the price, it's like 1 grand total instead of like 3 individual prices. And then I just think it's like less intimidating than having like all these different numbers in like text. It just kind of like just gets overwhelming. And then of course, if that's too much for whatever reason, we can always work our way down, but we can't like, it's like, oh, you can always go down, but not up. And I always remind them too that it's a mural placement. So when I tell them it's a mural placement and that obviously it's cheaper than Starbucks and how amazing it is, and I send them before and after pictures, they're almost always down to order it for sure. So that's pretty much like all I do for upselling. But pretty much the most thing that I do sell is keto coffee and chocolate greens.
Okay, yeah, that's so smart to just like tell them about everything.
Yeah, and I just saw Rachel say the HSN and lash serum. That's pretty much what I just started doing too. Every single time someone asks about one or the other, I always talk about both. It's like a bundle, and then I give the price together. Because I feel like if you give two different prices, they're going to pick one or the other. They're not going to pick both. So if you give one grand total, they'll pick that.
Yeah, and they're not as intimidated by it. Mm-hmm. How do you keep your team motivated with seeing the bigger picture and what is possible with this business?
So obviously we all know we can't motivate our team. We can just inspire them. But for me, I think like the biggest game changer like I ever did in my business was honestly becoming friends with my team. When I lived in Connecticut, I was blessed to have a local team. I had literally almost all my top leaders within like 30 minutes from me. So if you do have people that are local, definitely take advantage of it. And I started doing a work Wednesday. So basically every single Wednesday we'd get together and we would work and we'd hang out, and it was just so much fun. And doing that, we literally all became such good friends. And even like my girls, like all the sidelines, they all became so close with each other. And I feel like it helped so much because, when times were tough, maybe the business wasn't the best, they weren't just up and leaving because obviously they created this relationship with us. And there was just such a strong bond. So, I mean, obviously now I'm in Florida, so I don't really do that anymore, but I do have a couple of girls that are local to me that we do hang out. But obviously just like really getting to know someone and actually just seeing them, as a person, not just a paycheck. So I do like to get to know my distributors on a personal level, whether it's like getting on the phone with them or hanging out with them if you can, if they're local. I do like to get on the phone with like my existing leaders, obviously not like new distributors. That's different. That's a lot more time consuming when it comes to training and stuff. But I do really like to make good friends with my team as much as I can. And I love to have people at my house now. So, if you can, if whatever situation you're in, like I like to do like giveaways like with my leader. So like they'll do like a giveaway and they'll like have, certain people work for something and then like a couple of them can come stay with me, things like that. Or you can just do things like for like conference or green carpet. You can just get creative with it. But I feel like the biggest thing is just really making those friendships because people want to feel like they're a part of something. When they're a part of something, they're not going to just up and leave.
So true. Yeah. Create those friendships because they'll stay longer if they're just not like a box or a number. So
yes,
such definitely. A good reminder for all of us, especially if we've been in for like a while. I mean, granted, we all have created so many awesome relationships and friendships out of this business. So it's what I love. I think that was all the questions that everyone, let me scroll. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, let's see. You kind of answered this. Someone just asked, how many hours a day do you put into messaging? But you kind of said you want to get at least 30 to 40 new like active conversations going on.
Yeah. So there's no like designated time that I put in. It's kind of just like all throughout my day until like I'm satisfied with what I've done. So right. It's always a little bit different depending on the day.
Makes sense. I think that is it. So if there's no more questions or I think that was everything. All right. Well, if there's no one that wants to ask a question, we will just go ahead and finish this. Thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate your time and taking time out of your Sunday night to do this for us. And it was just so helpful. And I'm so excited to start utilizing the voice memos and everything like that you've taught us. So
awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right.